All right, we're going to take you live to Pretoria now, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting his Australian counterpart, Alexander van der Bellen, in order to deepen economic as well as trade relations between the two countries. Let's listen in.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Allow me to call upon the Honourable Minister for Small Business Development to officiate the program. Ms. Ndabeni, ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to all the guests that have been waiting for us here. His Excellencies, the Presidents of our countries, His Excellency Alexander van der Bellen, President of the Republic of Austria, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Martha Schulz, Vice President of the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber, Ministers, Deputy Ministers from Austria, our beautiful Madam, the doctor herself, the spouse to the President, business and industry leaders from Austria and South Africa. Good afternoon. I'm here to officiate the program. We know that you've been doing lots of work since the day has started, and mine is just to welcome you, as I'm also going to be officiating the program and invite those that must come and speak. I'm pleased to welcome you all to the South Africa-Austria Business Forum. This business forum serves as an important business platform to foster stronger partnerships between the public and private sector partnerships, connect businesses, share insights, and explore opportunities between our two beautiful countries. I've been informed that the engagements, discussions, and networking sessions that took place earlier today showcase valuable insights and opportunity for exchanges between both countries that we belong to. This opportunity for exchanges and sectoral conversations will enable us to intensify our efforts to improve our trade and investment relationship. I am confident that through open dialogue and collaborative efforts, we can achieve meaningful and effective progress and drive positive change that benefits both countries. Our own country, South Africa, presents significant trade and investment opportunities, primarily in its diverse natural resources like minerals. Mr. President, you know that we have gold, we have platinum, we have coal and many other minerals. We have a well-developed infrastructure, a skilled workforce, strong service sectors, whether you're talking about the finance or the business services, and access to the SADC region and African Continental Free Trade Area markets, which present a great opportunity for those that want to come and invest in our continent. The growth of our own economy will support the success of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that opens access to a market of over 1.3 billion people. The ACFTA offers many opportunities for increased trade, investment, and economic growth. It promotes foreign direct investment in sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and infrastructure, as well as regional manufacturing and distribution hubs, where international corporations can set up regional hubs and serve the entire continent. We believe we have strong investment opportunities in manufacturing, whether you're talking about the automotive or the aerospace, agriculture and agro-processing, in the renewable energies, the ICT, healthcare, tourism, logistics, and metals beneficiation. Our energy sector is one of South Africa's primary sectors driving investment in our country and is currently being radically transformed for unprecedented growth. South Africa is fast becoming a leading generator of solar energy. Over the next 5 years, we will seize the enormous opportunities in renewable energy for inclusive growth. South Africa has some of the best solar wind resources in the world. If you were to go to the Northern Cape, Mr. President, you were going to experience this. Hopefully, the President will invite you for the next visit. South Africa will be focusing on creating a green manufacturing sector centered on green hydrogen and associated products, electric vehicles, and renewable energy components. As a country, we are actively positioning ourselves to become a key player in the global hydrogen economy, leveraging its abundant renewable energy resources and platinum group metals, the reserves, with the aim of producing and exporting green hydrogen. Of course, we seek to contribute to decarbonization efforts, create jobs, and stimulate economic growth. We therefore appreciate the presence of Austrian companies in our country and encourage more Austrian companies to further expand their manufacturing footprint here at home. We especially encourage building business-to-business networks among South African and Austrian firms, especially in the micro, small, and medium enterprises, which we believe to be the engines of growth and innovation. From the side of government, we have a range of support measures and incentives to make it easy to do business in our country, as well as support our firms and MSMEs to do business in your own country, Mr. President. Let us work together as the respective governments of South Africa and Austria with our business communities to grow investments and jobs. And I thank you all. I did say I'm here to officiate the program, and all that I said was meant to welcome all of you now that we are changing gear, moving from your side, and do the work that we do with government. Now I will have the honors of inviting the President of our beautiful country, a gentleman that you know so well, the man who has made it possible for us to be enjoying the benefits that we have in terms of the Constitution and the freedoms that we have in our country, the man who has guided our country through difficult times, even when people lost hope, when the then governing party lost majority in elections. But pulling together in our diversity, he has been able to ensure that we bring everyone on board, the different parties respecting the will of the people of South Africa. And this is why today we're talking about a government of national unity, the only government that has managed to pull 10 parties in order to work towards servicing the people of South Africa. Thank you, Program Director. I invite the Vice President of the Business Chamber, who will be followed by the President.
So, dear Mr. President Ramaphosa, dear Mr. President van der Bellen, dear Minister Nabeni Abrahams, dear Doris Midauer, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to be here in Pretoria today. Africa is a continent rich with opportunities and challenges. A prosperous Africa characterized by peace, the rule of law, and good governance is in the best interest of Austria, also the European Union and the global community. A dynamically and sustainably developing Africa benefits us all. By partnering with our African counterparts, we can advance our shared political, security, and economic interests. Together, we can foster stability, sustainable economic and social development, and resilience across both continents. Austria has a deep-rooted engagement with Africa across political, economic, and cultural spheres. Austrian companies have successfully traded with African nations for decades, particularly in critical industrial sectors such as healthcare, infrastructure, and renewable energy, sustainable agriculture and machinery. Trade between Austria and South Africa has been on a positive trajectory in recent years, indicating significant potential for further growth. We believe that an intensified partnership will yield substantial benefits for both our nations and our citizens. Austria acknowledges South Africa's unwavering commitment to peace and stability in Africa. As one of the continent's most economically stable countries, South Africa plays a pivotal role. Austria is open to explore new avenues for strengthened partnership with South Africa, leveraging its economic significance and rich cultural heritage. Since 2014, ALPLA has invested nearly €200 million in South Africa. Additionally, they opened a state-of-the-art recycle plant in KwaZulu-Natal last year as a result of a further €50 million investment. And Red Bull is the leading energy drink in the South African market and a major sponsor of sports and arts in Mzansi. In collaboration with KTM Motorcycles, Red Bull powers Brad Binder, the first South African MotoGP winner. We see significant opportunities in large infrastructure projects, such as power generations and water treatment. Austria is ready to support its businesses in these crucial technological areas, fostering collaboration with South African partners. Our vision is to foster a mutually beneficial and thriving future for both our nations. Thank you very much to all the organizers of this fantastic South African business. It is now up to each and every participant to continue the fruitful talks. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. It is now my honor and privilege to respectfully invite the President of the Republic of Austria to address us. Mr. President, please take the stage. Yes, this one.
Dear President Ramaphosa, dear, how should I call you? Dear Federal Minister, I would say in Austria, dear Vice President Schulz, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor to be here in Pretoria, and officially my manuscript says open this forum, but of course I'm rather closing it. It is a real pleasure to be able to greet you after so many hours of discussing and talking to each other. Our nations enjoyed strong and cordial ties. The remarkable composition of the Austrian delegation shows that, comprising distinguished representatives from business, from science, from art, from the media, a living testament sort of to the enduring quality and scope of our relationship. It is a multifaceted partnership and one that only continues to grow. Our collaboration is diverse and spans a variety of sectors, including diplomacy, culture, science, and, very importantly, trade and investment. Today's business forum is designed to be an additional building block in order to strengthen this track of our partnership. Our objective is simple. We want to put Austria more firmly on the map in South Africa and vice versa, and the other way around. Already, South Africa is by far Austria's most important partner in Africa. You know by now, I think, all the numbers, import, export, and direct investment of Austria in South Africa. I'm very proud that 75 of Austrian subsidiaries are operating already in South Africa, having created about 7,500 jobs. Austrian companies, and that is also an important point, pride themselves not only on delivering high-quality goods and services, but also on being very loyal to the country they operate in, meaning when they enter a market, they plan to stay. They are not hit-and-run companies. They come without hidden agendas. Their aim is to increase trade and investment, thus benefiting both sides in this partnership. Just to give you one example, we visited yesterday, that was the Austrian firm Alpla, having invested 110 million in the last 3 or 4 years in packaging and recycling, and in the meantime having an already famous bottle-to-bottle recycling plant here in this country. Nobody knows about this firm in Austria, by the way, because it is not, no, it is, I mean, only specialists know it, but it's not on the stock exchange. It's a family business, already after 60 years still owned by the family, so they're operating quietly and with great success. Ladies and gentlemen, the turbulences which we have been experienced in geopolitics have not stopped short of the economy, especially trade. In times like these, our partnerships are more than something to rely on now. These partnerships are instrumental in building a common future for us, but for our children and grandchildren. South Africa, with its strategic position on the continent, is such a partner, and I think I can say a friend of Austria and a friend for Austria. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for the warm welcome we have experienced. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, Your Excellencies once more. It is my honor and privilege to respectfully invite His Excellency, President Ramaphosa, on stage. Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Program Director, President van der Bellen, and the First Lady of Austria, the Vice President of the Business Association of Austria, and ministers, and ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to have this opportunity to be with you this afternoon. And President van der Bellen and I have spent the better part of the morning having in-depth discussions about a variety of matters. And we very much looked forward to being here in your presence, and repeated it a number of times, telling various other people we encountered that the one thing that we are looking forward to is having this occasion with yourselves. And we even said it at the press conference, where we were subjected to a lot of questions by the media about a variety of things, and we survived, and we are here. President van der Bellen and I, in our discussions, have had a great deal of agreement on many issues, many issues indeed, that have to do with improving the relations between our two countries, improving trade and investment, and making sure that the relations solidify. And he related how Austria also played a very critical role during the dark years of our country, that our country went through, the dark years of apartheid, and how a number of people in Austria supported our struggle and even formed the anti-apartheid movement. Having had such wonderful discussions, and I honored President van der Meulen and his wife to a very wonderful lunch, you may want to know, but we differed very, very seriously on one issue. And I thought for a minute that the differences between us are just going to destroy the relationship that the two countries have had over a number of years. And the difference was so fierce, so serious. And we differed on one issue, and that issue was when I said, South Africa is the most beautiful country in the world. And President van der Meulen couldn't tolerate that. He said, of course, except Austria. And so we finally, because I'm a very good compromising negotiator, I then said, okay, let's agree that South Africa and Austria are the most beautiful countries. So we have peace again between the two of us. And this goes to show in many ways, as we laugh, that the relations between our two countries are really solid. And the solidity thereof is proven in a number of ways, our cooperation in a number of fields, but also the presence of a number of leading Austrian companies here at this business forum that are involved in South Africa through direct investments and distribution and sales offices or in projects and services is clear proof that we do indeed have a very good relationship that goes beyond diplomacy, that goes beyond politics, that goes to affect the important area of any country's life, which is the economic life of a country. In 2022, I was privileged to attend the commissioning of ALPLA, which is a group state-of-the-art recycling plant in Lanseria, and the result of an investment of 40 million euros. There are many opportunities that exist in South Africa for investments, and a number of Austrian companies have taken these up. There are opportunities in areas such as renewable energy, agro-processing, component manufacturing opportunities, and there are also opportunities in critical minerals, the beneficiation of those minerals, which is an important aspect in pharmaceuticals, in innovation, and a number of other areas. South Africa has shown signs of progress in a number of areas, and as you know, South Africa is the most industrialized country economically on the continent. We have an extensive infrastructure layout. Our financial services architecture is one of the better ones in the world, and our judicial system functions extremely well. Our governance has withstood a number of challenges that we've had, and we are a country that is moving forward despite the many challenges that we face. And we've faced challenges of our electricity supply over the past few years. We have overcome those through dedication and commitment. That is one of the areas that held us back when it comes to economic growth, because any economy really relies on the supply of electricity. We have addressed those, and we're now focusing on other areas that are going to catapult the growth of our country forward, particularly in infrastructure. And we have been able to create a conducive climate for investors to come and invest. President van der Bellen and I were talking earlier about another important country in the world, how in terms of what is happening there is going to impede investments and is going to lead to the decline of the third country's economy. On the South African side, we look at the Africa Continental Free Trade Area as an important pillar that is going to support not only the growth of our own country's economy, but the growth of the economy of our continent. And we are in the process of taking advantage of that. As Minister Ndabeni Abrahams said, we're looking forward to this 1.3 billion market opening up on the African continent, and would say, without any form of apology, that South Africa is the gateway into the African continent due to the infrastructure that we have, due to the level of governance we have, due to the rule of law that exists in this country, due to the measures that we've taken to make South Africa an investable country. So we are encouraging those who would want to surge into the rest of the continent to use South Africa as their platform, to use South Africa as their launching pad, and to use South Africa as the gateway into the rest of our continent. We have a well-developed regulatory framework that is able to harness the potential of various economic sectors in our country. The minister spoke about how we are exploiting the renewable energy sector, and as part of that, how we are exploiting the hydrogen economy. And South Africa is also in the process of developing a very modernized industrial plan, an industrial policy plan that is going to support the growth of our economy in a number of sectors. And particularly, we're looking forward to creating electric vehicles and battery production. And that, in many ways, is going to be able to reposition our country. Now, Austria is very strong in a very, very good skill base in the industrial sector, and we want to invite Austrian companies to come and make their investments here. We have a supportive and enabling industrial policy, and we also have a number of industrial zones, special industrial zones, that we are setting up. So, relying on the efficacy of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and the fact that South Africa is an investable country, we would say Austrian companies, those who have not yet invested in our market, ought to look at South Africa with new eyes, because we are a country that is moving forward despite the many challenges we face. And many of the challenges that we face, even though people don't want us to talk about this, emanate from our past. The past and the dark past that I spoke about, which gave rise to the de-skilling of our people, where skills that our people should have had are not easily present. But through our government initiatives, improving education, we are doing everything we can to close that gap. And we also are addressing the poverty that our people are suffering from as a result of what happened in the past. In the past, our people were stripped of the asset base that they had after, of course, their defeat and the various struggles that happened. The asset base they had was stripped, and that resulted in poverty. And the poverty that has persisted, and our government, which is the 7th administration of democratic rule in our country, is doing everything it can to address those. So South Africa, in addition to everything else, is an anchor for regional value chains on the continent. And it is for this reason that we say we have a very strong manufacturing sector, and in our region as well as on the continent. And it is for this reason that we say South Africa needs to be looked at through the prism of what we are seeking to achieve as a country, despite the various challenges. What I can say as I conclude is that we are a country that is moving forward. We're not going backwards, and we are addressing the legacy of what we were left with when we became a democratic country. I often say the apartheid system severely damaged the capability of our people, but we are doing everything we can to increase their capability. And you see this as you go around our country, as you see how those people who were prevented from getting into various sectors of the economy or playing a role in the economy, be they black people or women, how they are surging forward. This morning, when I received President van der Bellen at the Union Buildings, he was amazed at seeing how women in our defense force are playing a key role. And he said, there are so many women. And I said, yes, President, we've taken a conscious decision to empower the women in our country and to make sure that they do play their important role in the development of our country. What President van der Bellen saw this morning is precisely what we are seeking to do right across the economy, to bring in those who were prevented from playing a key role in the life of their own country rather than just being sources of labor and being locked away in reserves in the place and locations, townships. We're bringing them into the life of our country, which is the economy of our country. And this is the beauty of what South Africa in its democratic existence is seeking to do. We are a country on the move. We've got a number of setbacks that we've had to address. For instance, COVID set us back severely, but we have picked ourselves up and we are surging forward. And the legacies that we have had set us back in a number of areas, but we are addressing those. We are moving forward. We have a number of endowments, and our people are our endowment. Much as many of them may not have the necessary skills, but they are the endowment that we have. They are the richness of what South Africa has to give. And we are now capitalizing on that and saying we want our people to continue playing a key role in the life of their country. And our mineral resources are a huge endowment as well. And they are those that we want to rely on to energize our economy as we get more and more South Africans to play the role that they should play in the economy of our country. So South African businesses are also eager themselves to explore opportunities in many parts of the world, and I'm glad that they are here. They are also eager to take up opportunities in Austria and in other parts of the European market. And there is high demand for, as you well know, for some of the endowments that we have, which is our agricultural products. We export a lot of these products into the EU. What we are focusing on now, because even our agricultural sector is highly dominated by those who gained from the privileges that they got in the past. I was telling President van der Bellen that they are going to Cape Town, and when they get to Cape Town, they are going to see how we produce wine. We produce some of the best wines in the world, second to none. And I'm glad that President Macron is not here to have a very big dispute with me. But I did say to him that the places where those wines are produced, they're produced on the land that was taken away from the indigenous people of our country. So the ownership and the control of those still resides in the hands of those who are privileged. However, rather than take that away, we are saying we want to work together as South Africans so that we join hands and continue producing all these wonderful products, working together, empowering those who were deprived of opportunities in the past, empowering the women of our country, the youth of our country, to ensure that we build an economy that is the best. I'd like us to realize how South Africa is continuing to move forward, and we therefore really welcome the opportunity that we have today. The other one is, this is the first time that an Austrian president has visited South Africa, or head of state rather, from Austria has visited South Africa. And we do hope that President van der Bellen's visit here is going to open a floodgate of many more Austrians to come to South Africa. He tells me that 20,000 Austrians come to South Africa annually, and I want 200,000. I want them to go to hundreds of thousands. And he has invited me to come to Austria, which invitation I have accepted, and I will be going to Austria with pleasure. So one of the things that happened today is how we've been each boasting about each other's countries. And I told President van der Bellen that he'll be going to Cape Town and you will see one of the wonders of the world, Table Mountain. And he asked me, how tall is Table Mountain? I said, it's 1,063 meters. He said, that's nothing. He comes from a country that has up to 4,000 meters. So we were being serious and boasting about each other's countries, which is a very good ingredient in discussions that can take place. Another important thing that happened today, which in many ways can be seen as a great highlight, is the signing of a memorandum of understanding in the field of technical and vocational training. And we want to learn, as South Africa, from Austria on how to achieve the delicate balance between building the workforce of the future and growing the skills needed by the economy today. And Austria has really excelled, and the vice president of the Austrian Business Chamber was saying, because of the skill base that Austria has and continues to develop, you are sure that your economy will continue growing and will be well positioned for the future. Now, that is an important issue or statement which I would like us to make in South Africa one day, that because of the skill base that we have, our economy will continue to grow, just as she expressed to me. That is what we want to learn from Austria, on how we can transit our young people from learning in education centers into the world of work through vocational learning, and how we can get our South African companies to be willing to absorb young people from learning institutions into the world of work and enable them to gain the skills that they should have. You are in a country where by law, black people were not allowed to get into certain skills. By law, it was written in law that no black person may get into this skill, and that skill. It was clearly written in law. Now, the advent of democracy has stopped that. but we now need to ensure that we have the processes that will allow many, many South Africans, black and white, to get into real serious skills where they can contribute to the economy of our country. I do believe that this is an area where we would like close collaboration, close working together with Austria, because it is in this, by working together, that we will be able to embark on a new era of growth as we get the support of those who have already seen how it is done. And it is this that gives me the confidence that the engagements that you are having here, or you have had here, and the networking sessions from this forum will yield the benefits for both South African and Austrian businesses. I do really appreciate your coming together, and much as you've come together because President van der Bellen has come for an official visit. I'm glad that he brought you along. And when I heard that he would be coming with a number of businesses, I also wanted to show him that, you know, he's not the only one who can have business people coming along. I also have my own business people here. So he and I agree on a number of issues, and I'm glad that we were able to get together. So more formally, President van der Bellen, I accept your invitation to come to Austria. You set the date and I'll be there. Thank you very much.
As President Cyril Ramaphosa, they're hosting his Austrian counterpart, President Alexander van der Bellen, as they both seek more ways to strengthen our current bilateral relationships. Now, the two countries have agreed to explore further engagement as well as collaboration on energy security, as well as other overall economic growth and stability projects, setting up further industrial roles in that Austrian companies should consider South Africa open and very lucrative for business, also to improve in education as well as skills programs for a more inclusive sector, as well as wide range participation and efficiency. While that event is currently taking place in Pretoria.